What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you're sick with something or you tested positive with COVID, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term issues and no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Pandemic Update for Saturday, May 4th, 2024. That's right, May the 4th be with you. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where we do the daily pandemic update on all things COVID and any other virus that could be a health threat to you. Let's face it, there's a lot of different viruses out there, and we're going to talk about a few of them today to help keep you informed and to help keep you staying safe. So if you're new, subscribe down below. If you like this video today, give it a thumbs up. The more thumbs up we get, the more YouTube pushes our content out through the algorithm. The more people that get to see these videos, the more people we can help keep safe. Let's try for 100 likes today. If you have any comments, leave them down below. And of course, share this with anyone you know. Alright, we have just a few news stories today. And then we are going to take a look at some of our daily data, do something different in between, take a look at a state we have not looked at in a while, take a look at some CDC data, and take a look at some of our other stuff that we normally would look at on a Saturday. First off, just a few news stories. Jonas Brothers postponed series of concerts in Mexico due to Nick Jonas getting sick. But here's what's interesting about this now. They're saying Mexico. That's a warmer climate. Well, let me read a quote. And Laura Myers was the one who tweeted this out. If you're on Twitter and you don't follow Laura Myers, you should follow Laura. This is a fantastic Twitter account. And there was a quote within this that said, "Hi guys. I have come down with the nasty strain of influenza A that's been going around, and I'm not able to sing at the moment." So number one, influenza A, yes, you can still test positive for that at any time of the year, less likely in the warmer months. And he says it's going around. So apparently, either he knows of more people who have it, or apparently he's assuming that it's going around, or that he does know more people who have it. So this is not good. Then we move on to this now. And speaking of influenza, COVID lessons remain unlearned as avian flu infects cattle, hospitals say. Yes, I would agree with this. I could go on for a very long time about this topic. COVID lessons being unlearned. I think I'll just keep this very short. If you want to read this full story, I will be tweeting this out just shortly. But let's read a little bit of this first. Hospital leaders say the health system won't be ready if the avian flu that's infected American dairy cattle becomes widespread among humans. And I'm going to stop right there. First off, when they talk about lessons not learned, we just kind of let the viruses do whatever the viruses want to do. Let's face it, we're a small YouTube channel here. How many people are actually checking in to see what the COVID levels right now? How many average Americans, or anyone all around the world, actually know what the latest variant is of COVID right now? If you said COVID variant KP.2 to someone, would they actually know what the heck I'm talking about? No, they wouldn't. So many people are in a disconnect, thinking that everything's over. And I will prove that to you in just a little bit when we take a look at Philadelphia's numbers. But the point I'm trying to make here is people think everything is fine and dandy. So therefore, they haven't learned to continue doing the precautions that we're doing from COVID. And they're not taking it seriously. If they're not taking COVID seriously, how are they going to be able to take influenza seriously if H5N1 becomes a big problem among humans? Second of all, we take a look at hospital capacity. And I do have some numbers here. This is from the other day. Not so much numbers, but some states. Remember back last week, we took a look at some states that were above 80% of their hospital beds being used? Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Washington, and West Virginia all made that list. Now, some new numbers should have come in, and we'll revisit this on Monday. Maybe we'll have to remove a state or add another state to the list, but the point I'm trying to make is, if you live in those states mentioned, and here is the list right here, if you live in those states mentioned, Say you start getting H5N1 going, well, suddenly you have a severe hospital capacity problem in those states. And there's other states in between. There's a lot of states that are north of 75% or just below 80% of hospital beds being used. I mean, if I would have done 75%, well, heck, we probably would have been over 20 states or close to it. So the point I'm trying to make is we still got COVID ongoing. We still have long COVID, which is an issue. And you put all this together, that's one of the reasons why there's a hospital capacity issue, right? Another reason is rural America does have a hospital crisis. Some parts of rural America have had hospitals shut down. I know in Pennsylvania it's been a big problem. And we don't need something else to be going on top of it. And if H5N1 goes among humans, guess what? We run into a really big problem, and a number of states with hospital beds being used over 80%, it would probably double. It would probably get really serious. So you get the idea here. This is not good news. Speaking of not good news, we have this now. Long Beach, California declares health emergency over tuberculosis outbreak that killed one person. That's right, tuberculosis is now spreading in Long Beach, California. There have been 14 tuberculosis cases linked to a private single-room occupancy hotel. As of Monday, Davis said 9 people had to be hospitalized and 1 person has died. I mean, you have other random stuff that's going on in localized areas as well. 9 people hospitalized. That's 9 hospital beds being used. You get the idea? You get where I'm coming from here? You add H5N1 onto everything else that's going on, and it would be really bad. Alright, moving on now to a state we have not looked at in a long time. That's right, Florida. Someone asked me if I could show anything from Florida yesterday, and a thought came to my mind that, hey, Florida does still have a dashboard. The reason why we don't always show it, sometimes I have a hard time loading this page. Sometimes it just spins in circles. But I actually did get it to load. We'll have to see about deaths, though. But taking a look here. So far in 2024, for this year, and mind you, I don't know if they add any of the at-home tests to this, but if this is all PCR tests, that's a lot of people getting a PCR test. Florida has had 150,628 cases. Last year's total was 582,990. I don't expect that they will have more cases than last year. Reason being because less people get tested now, but we'll have to see what happens. Let's see if we can see the deaths for so far this year. I don't know if we can or not, but I'm going to click on it. It says please wait. Okay, it did come up. So maybe Florida finally fixed what was wrong with their website. Already this year. Wow. This is rather concerning. In 2024, there have been 2,533 deaths in Florida. Last year, they had 8,433. The year before, they had 21,290. And then you go back to 2021, and it shows that they had 39,866. And in 2020, they had 23,344. And that's just crazy that they had so many deaths in 2021. But remember, Delta variant really hit the South hard. We'll have to see. I don't think they're going to have more deaths than last year, but, it could get close in the end. I think they will definitely, easily have north of 5,000 deaths this year, and maybe even hit 7,000 deaths, but I'm just speculating here. We'll have to see what happens as time goes on. The South usually does have a wave in the summertime. Alrighty, taking a look now at the latest EMS totals out of Philadelphia, and yet again, over 800. It's been over 800 every day since last Monday, which last Monday the total was 950. Again, 849 EMS incidents reported for Friday. And let's do a live looking at the burbs. And you can see it's relatively busy right now. 14 calls in Montgomery County, and I am seeing a ton of calls that are not good. Cardiac emergency, hemorrhaging, another cardiac emergency, stroke, cardiac arrest in Whitpain Township, diabetic emergency, unconscious subject, cardiac emergency again, altered mental status, abdominal pain, fracture, vomiting, cardiac emergency yet again, and another stroke call. Wow, that's not good. Is it any better in Chester County? No, not really. Fall, lift, assist. Choking, respiratory difficulty. Fall, lift, assist. Respiratory difficulty. Fall, lift, assist. Stroke. Sick person. Heart problem. Hospital to hospital transfer. That could be any reason. Maybe they don't have enough hospital beds at this time, or maybe they're dealing with something, a psychological issue person or a mental case or something, and they need to transfer to somewhere else where they do have capacity for that. And then we do see EMS standby showing up a couple times. I want to take things a step further. It is Cinco de Mayo this weekend, and I've been showing you these numbers here in Philadelphia being very high. I don't see any reason why the numbers are going to come down. And we are really going to put these new COVID variants, the new flirt variants, especially KP.2, to the test. Take a look at what our traffic map looks like here on a Saturday. This is just absolutely ridiculous. There are people out and about everywhere. And if I was able to show you other cities, which I can, here's Washington, D.C., let's go up to New York. Look at New York City. New York City is seeing traffic all over the place. And it's the same deal in a lot of different cities, but I'm just showing my area because I know what things are like here. Let's just look at downtown Philly. Yeah, we're going to be really putting these variants to the test. Look at this. The roadways are just absolutely packed with people. And take a look. The windshield wipers are going. These are not outdoor activities that people are going. Well, if you're going to the baseball game, that's outdoor, but you get the idea. It's raining. People are going to have to be indoor for their Cinco de Mayo celebrations. Yeah, we're going to be really testing to see if KP.2 causes a wave. And I should have mentioned something else. It's also graduation season. Not just here in Pennsylvania. Across America, graduation season's happening. I know up in State College. I believe it's commencement for Penn State University this weekend. Are you seeing a lot of people out and about in your area? Where you live, in your city? I know I am. I'm also seeing an increase in the number of people coughing. And some people have left comments on Twitter saying, well, it is allergy season. I get it, it is allergy season, but no, this is a distinct increase. And I've already seen posts on Facebook, social media, people saying, oh, I thought I had allergies, tested positive for this or that, it's something else. Yeah, so no, it's not all allergies. Things are starting to pick up once again, unfortunately. National positivity rate at Walgreens this week is 12.6%. The prior week was 13%. That's down 0.4%. But testing was down. 3,941 tests versus 4,488. Not going to take a look at wastewater today because tomorrow will be our wastewater bonanza. Hospital bed capacity in the United States. 74.9% of all beds are being used. 0.7% for COVID. Influenza is causing 0.3% of them. The ICU situation is 69.2% nationally, 0.6% for COVID, and 0.4% for influenza. One thing we will have to keep an eye on is the influenza use percentage. If we start seeing that going up, that's a concerning sign. As of right now, there is only just one documented case this year of H5N1 as far as I know. But as you know, there have been reports of workers being sick on farms. Don't know if they have been tested for H5N1. I'm assuming probably not. And who knows what would happen if they were tested for H5N1. So that is concerning. But again, we're going to keep an eye on these numbers. Because like I said, I really don't see how we were ready for another pandemic if another pandemic should come. Nationally, we're over 74.9% once again of beds being used. That's quite a bit, so that's something, it's not alarming. If nationally was over 80%, we would have a real big problem. But again, we would like to see this number eventually at some point come downward. And it is slowly coming down. Back in January, it peaked at 78.7%. So, we are better than we were then, but we'll have to watch. It's the warmer season now. Usually we use less capacity in the warmer season. And you can see the past few years, as we headed towards summer, we did use less capacity, and then, of course, a summer wave of COVID started up, and gradually things did go back up a little bit before peaking in the wintertime. All right, taking a look at some more data. COVID hospital admissions in the past week, 5,098. That is down by 11.1%. And when we take a look at the deaths in the past week, the deaths have been changed by nothing. They're flat over the previous week. When we take a look at emergency department visits, they are down by 11% in the past week. And coming down here, we do want to come down to this map. Deaths are not rising in any states. When we take a look at emergency department visits, hospitalizations, we can see we're back to the old CDC, Sea of Green. Just only one or 2 counties, just a few counties, are in the yellow where they are still seeing a significant change in the amount of hospital admissions. Continuing on now, let's take a look at the latest epidemic status data here. We can see Texas is likely growing for COVID. Everywhere else is stable, uncertain, likely declining, or declining. We could see a few states get added to this in the next week or two. For flu, we see most states are either declining, likely declining, stable, uncertain, or just not estimated. And we do see that Arizona is likely growing at this time. We hope to not see Texas become a likely growing state. That would be a very bad sign. Taking a look at the latest variant proportions, KP.2. Maybe you never heard of it. Well, I'm telling you about it now. KP.2 is the latest dominating variant in the United States at 24.9%. JN.1, which was the variant that caused the winter surge, is at 22%. And then there's a whole bunch more variants, including a JN 1.7, which is at 13.7%. JN 1.13.1 is at 8.8%. And then there's another KP, 1.1, which is 7.5%. Right now, KP.2 is dominating. We'll get another variant update again next Friday. The latest influenza map across the country shows that all states in the United States are in the low category to minimal. The only one close to being moderate is up in North Dakota and again in Alaska. Taking a look at New Jersey today, and I do have to refresh this. Let's see how many hospitals updated in New Jersey. Did we even get an update on it? Okay, 69 out of 70 hospitals reported. 180 hospitalizations for New Jersey, 2 people on a ventilator, 24 in the ICU, and we take a look at discharges. There have been 25 discharges in the last 24 hours. No update today out of New York State. The most recent one showed 552 cases, and hospitalizations as of the most recent update were kind of flat now. They're not really dropping. They're not really rising all that much. They're going nowhere. It's showing signs that, hey, we do have a new subvariant taking over, so it's really putting the brakes on the dropping, but it's not yet really causing a surge, and it's uncertain whether it will cause a big surge at this time. I'm not expecting it to cause a massive surge, but more so a bump in the road. You know how you bump up a little bit, and you go back down, and then bump up. I'm thinking that may be what we see happen. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Saturday edition of the Pandemic Update. We will have another pandemic update again tomorrow on Sunday, where we will do the wastewater update and take a look at wastewater all around the United States. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know someone who likes to see this content, share this with them. And if you're going to be celebrating Cinco de Mayo or anything else that's going on around the country, maybe be a graduation, a sporting event, anything, please do so safely. And remember, there is no shame in wearing a mask still. An ounce of protection is better than a life full of COVID or long COVID. The actions we make today could prevent how our health is several months, several years from now. If we avoid a COVID infection today, we could avoid years and years of long COVID. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. I will see you all again tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic Saturday evening. Bye-bye.